Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. My name is DJ Savage, and welcome to MyTunes, a short 5-minute section where I'm going to be talking about a song I enjoy, a song I really relate to, and a song I have a lot of nostalgia for. This song my grandmother sang to me when I was a child, and even till this day I still hear it sometimes. And that song is none other than Frankie and Johnny. So, without further ado, let's get started. Frankie and Johnny is a country classic, but there's no set origin to the song. There have been a lot of theories, but there's nothing that's actually set in stone. So when you hear the words, they usually vary from version to version, just depending on how they learned it. And for this video, I chose Pete Seeger's version, which can be found in the description. But I chose it because one, his lyrics are fairly close to the version I learned as a child. His lyrics are almost identical to my grandmother's with a few variations. And also, I really like the music that he put behind it. It's just a guitar part, and it's not overly flashy. It doesn't overload the song. I really like it. But for Frankie and Johnny, there's one general story, but how the story is told depends. But the main idea is that there's two lovers, Frankie and Johnny. Johnny's a country boy, and one night he goes out to a bar and he is unfaithful with Frankie. And when Frankie finds out, she goes and she takes a gun, and when she finds that Johnny is actually being unfaithful, she shoots and kills him, and then Frankie goes off to jail. Now, a lot of people think it's a really dark story, and they only cover the surface, which is what the song typically says, which is about a woman killing her man over cheating. And yes, I can see where a lot of that argument comes from, but I really like the deeper meaning of the story, and it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me to be a good person at a very young age, and a lot of people also thought that was weird to sing this song to a 4-year-old. But it taught me a lot about how to be a person and a bunch of other things, and it's all thanks to my grandmother. I've always been really close to my grandmother. I grew up with my parents, my two sisters, myself, and my grandmother all in the same house. But we had a very small house, so my parents shared a room, my sister shared a room, and I had to share a room with my grandmother. And I got really close to my grandmother, which a lot of people don't really have that. I've seen a lot of people's grandparents actually live in a different house, but that wasn't the case for me since my whole life my grandmother has lived in the same house with me. Um, my grandparents on my dad's side died before I was born, and I never got to see my grandpa very much. He lived in Ohio, so I only saw him a few times in my life. But my grandmother, I saw her every day. When my sisters were at school and my parents were at work, I'd stay at home with my grandmother, and we became really close. And one of these ways is my grandmother would sing to me, and it it really makes me happy whenever I hear her singing because I think she really wanted to do singing, but she really couldn't just because of the time period and just because of other reasons. So whenever I hear her singing a song or singing in general, it makes me happy. But I have this song on Spotify, and every once in a while it'll pop up, and it reminds me of home. It brings me back from life. It reminds me where I came from, and it just makes me happy to hear a song. Even though it's a little dark, it's the nostalgia that really does it for me. But that's all I have time for. I'm running out of time. If you want to check out the song, links in the description. I would also recommend checking out other versions. There are a lot of different ones. Elvis Presley does a really good version. Johnny Cash does a completely different version that I recommend listening to. And Sam Cooke that also does a very good version. But as for me, that's all I have time for. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next video.